Hello and welcome to Safe Schools. I'm Curtis Graves.
And I'm Andy Howard. And welcome again to Safe Schools. We are excited to have a, I think, really interesting program with a particularly special guest for our city. It's the Mayor of Mobile, Mayor Sandy Stimpson. And we're going to have an opportunity to talk about some interesting and exciting topics today. I think it's going to be a great show. We'll be right back.
Diesel is a very big industry, and I went into it in a 2-year program at the Bryant Career Tech with Tony Tillman.
When Jacob graduated from the Bryant Career Center, he had earned his diesel credential.
The Career Technical Center taught me a lot, all the way from not knowing anything about a motor or engine to knowing pretty much every single moving part of them.
MCPSS Career Tech. Start your future today.
The quality of education that I received from the Mobile County Public School System really prepared me for global success. Being an international opera singer, I get to travel all across the world. And one of the most important aspects about that is being able to communicate and work with people. And the Mobile County Public School System really equipped me to be greatly successful worldwide.
Traditional light bulbs actually generate 9 times more heat than light. Let's switch to Energy Star light bulbs and stop burning through cash. Saving energy saves you money.
Hello, and we're back. Welcome, Mayor Stimpson.
It's good to be here this morning, Curtis. Appreciate it.
Glad to have you here.
Good.
We're going to jump right into a few things, but before we do that, we're going to talk a little bit to you about you. About Mr. Mayor. We want to know a little bit about you, your history, what motivated you to enter politics, city politics, and just your life in Mobile.
Right, well, I'm a native Mobilian, born here a long time ago, graduated from University Military School. I've spent my entire life in Mobile other than 4.5 years in Tuscaloosa, where I met my wife. I got married in 1975. We have 4 children. And we have 9 grandchildren with 2 on the way. I've spent 40 years in the lumber manufacturing business, and during that career, I got involved in civic activities and just got a taste for what's going on in the city. And what really caused me to get into politics was people really started asking me, when was I going to run for political office? And I just laugh at them. I'm saying I'm not a politician. But then I realized that Mobile was at a unique point in its history, and I really felt like with the business background and the diversity of things that I'd done civically, qualified me to bring some skill sets and some ideas to city government that we hadn't had in a long time. And so it was just thinking that I could make a difference is what caused me to run for mayor.
Well, you are, and I think my own personal experience knowing that what you're doing in the background of the city, what people don't know, is major. And I'm sure at some point it'll be addressed, but thank you for your service.
Well, I'm honored, truly honored to have the opportunity to be the mayor of Mobile.
Well, that's a wonderful venture to put yourself out there and take the chance to, be something unique in Mobile's history, make yourself a part of that.
Yeah.
What we have, Mayor, is an opportunity we gave some of our students an opportunity to pose questions.
Yes.
Okay. And so we're going to give a student an opportunity to pose a question to you this morning and give you a chance to get some feedback from some of our kids.
We're ready.
In the Mobile County Public Schools.
Let's go.
Hi, my name is Kristen Stovall. I'm a senior at Theodore High School, and my question is, do you think One Mobile will improve the crime rate? And
that question came from Ms. Stovall. Right. Theodore High School.
Right. Kristen wants to know if One Mobile is going to improve our crime rate. Well, let me speak to that by saying that really the vision for the city was to create One Mobile so that we could become the safest, most business and family friendly city in America by 2020. And so the answer to me is that is part of our goal, is to become the safest city in America. And it's like I've used a football analogy of Coach Saban saying he wants to be a national champion. And I didn't want to be the safest city in Alabama. Let's set it out there. Let's throw a marker out there. And when you have a vision and an objective like that, it creates ideas and things that you got to do to achieve that. And when you initially throw out an idea like that of being the safest in America, you know, there are a lot of naysayers that just don't think it can happen. But what happens is that once you start having a few successes, then people start realizing, you know, maybe we can do this. And then what happens on top of that is people start doing things differently. I mean, we have an initiative going on in the campground area right now, which has been an impoverished area. It's been a neighborhood that's been in decline for a long time. But there's hope in that area right now, and it's because we're addressing the crime first in that particular area. And we're doing some things that are very unique. Chief Barber is very creative, and he has a kind of not just an attitude, but a way about him where he can gain the confidence and the trust of the citizens there by being transparent.
And you guys are doing a great job. I've had an opportunity to actually visit the campground area also when you all had the operation there. And just to see the community outside of their homes with aspiration, with appreciation on their face for you all being out there doing what you all did out there to try to remedy some of the problems, some of the plague that's been causing problems out there in their community.
You know, in your response to Kristen's question, you talked about vision and idealisms about, you know, how things can happen if we have an idea. It seems you've got a term that you've coined, One Mobile.
Right. Right.
And you know, I think our audience would like to know a little more about what that means.
That came up during the campaign, and the idea was that we have a fractionated community, and it's not just Mobile. A lot of cities are fractionated. So what is a rallying point to make everyone feel like that they are part of this city? And so when you start thinking about that, and part of this idea came from a former mayor in St. Petersburg, and he wanted a citizen, no matter who they were, what they looked like, where they lived, that no matter where they drove in town, they didn't feel like they needed to lean over and lock their car door because they were in a unsafe area. And he wanted, no matter where they lived geographically, for them to realize that they were getting the same city services as they saw somebody getting across the railroad tracks. And so by distributing the services on an equitable basis, then citizens start feeling like I am part of this city, and they do care about me, and that's when they engage and you start gaining their confidence. So One Mobile, I don't want to really think it's going to be a movement, but it starts off kind of as a movement, but then it becomes a way of life that we think differently about what we can do to help our fellow citizens.
You know what? You just answered my question. My question was just that. What will One Mobile look like? And you just gave us a vision of what you want it to look like.
You know, I think that what Mobile is going to look like is that, and I'm going to look at it from a perspective of some of our young people that have left Mobile because they felt disenfranchised, and they thought, well, you know, they just don't have what I want in a city because of an experience maybe they had in high school, or maybe an experience their family had. Well, we want to change those experiences so that those will now, when they come back to visit, they realize there's something different about how everyone's treating each other. And our parks look nicer, our businesses are growing, and I want to come back to Mobile, you know?
Well, I think you're in tap right now, and you've already tapped in with their thoughts because some of the questions that are coming to you are just that. And we're going to get to those questions right after this commercial break.
Yeah, very good.
It started with me at Murphy High School when I came here as a freshman in 1973. I was very interested in math and science already before I came to Murphy. From Murphy High School, I was appointed to the U.S. Naval Academy, was able to get my college degree and also my commission in the U.S. Navy from the Naval Academy. But it truly was the foundation that I gained here at Murphy High School that allowed me to take advantage of that great opportunity.
Hello, my name is Tyler Lott, and I'm a junior at Alma Bryant High School, and I have a question for the mayor. How will the Mobile job market grow during the next few years? What businesses will expand and hire new workers? Also, how can we continue to attract new businesses to the city of Mobile?
And we're back. We had a question from one of our high schoolers at Bryant High School, Mr. Tyler Lott. Mayor, just wanted to know about job opportunities in the market here in Mobile. What do you think?
Well, Tyler, I'm going to predict that we're going to see tremendous growth in job opportunities for our young people and even people that currently have jobs in the next few years. And part of it's going to be created simply because of the existing companies we have that will be expanding. We're aware that Acra Solutions, Horizon Shipbuilding, SSAB, Austal, they all will be adding employees in the near future. And when you think about the international companies that we have, whether it's Avonic or AM&S Calvert, we have a great foundation to build upon. And really to grow our community, it's going to be the existing businesses that have confidence in what's going on in their company and in their community for them to invest and to expand their own businesses. We have something like 22,000 businesses in Mobile. It's hard to believe, or employers, let's say.
Okay.
And so, just think of what the growth is if they add one employee. So anyway, I think that's where the growth is going to come primarily from our existing businesses, and that's apart from what the hope for is with Airbus. And with Airbus, everybody's waiting for the suppliers to kind of show up and start announcing that they'll be here. And we've been told from really day one that a lot of these suppliers, first-tier suppliers, they want to see that first airplane take off, and then they'll start making commitments. But there's some, as they use some slang, there's some tire kicking going on right now by those suppliers to determine, if Mobile's where they want to be. And the way we run the city and them seeing what we're doing with our, trying to be family friendly, all makes a huge difference in whether a new business is going to locate here or whether a current business is going to expand.
I would like to say this before the next question. There is an air of excitement in Mobile right now. A lot of opportunities people are seeing, but for those people who aren't necessarily seeing the vision of the growth, what would you say to a student or a parent who is still saying there are not opportunities in Mobile?
Well, let me start to answer that question. I think that there has been a misperception or a pathway that across America that we followed, and that was that to be successful that you had to have a college education.
Right.
And I just disagree with that. I think that there are a lot of job opportunities. It's in the Mobile's first responders. It could be plumbers, millwrights, mechanics, all kinds of jobs that have great, will provide a great living for someone. And you don't have to have a college education for some of them, at least to begin with. A lot of our young people aren't mature enough and maybe ready to go to college. And so we have a lot of job opportunities and training that's provided by current industry or by the Alabama Industrial Development Training. But also our Mobile County Public School System is now realizing with their signature schools the things that can be done to put our young people on career paths that gives them an idea or exposure to things that they could do. That wasn't happening 10 years ago.
Right.
Everybody was told to be successful you had to go to college.
Yeah, our signature academies are great. We have 12, and they offer an array of opportunities for careers for any young person who's aspiring to be something in life. And I urge and encourage any parent to take time out to look at the website and see what school interests you and your child.
And we surely want to change the mindset of many of our students from the notion of, they like growing up in Mobile, they like getting their education here, and then they look to go elsewhere. We want Mobile to become a destination instead of a starting point. We want to do a place where they find themselves settling back to and into.
Right. And not only settling back to, but not even leaving. I
Right.
mean, we have so much to offer right here. And I've said for the last 3 years that Mobile's most valuable export item has been our young people.
You're right.
And because they go somewhere else to find jobs. And so, again, with industry, with the current employers being excited about what's going on in the community, then I think that our young people will be able to find jobs. But there's some other things that go along with that, and I'll just be brief here, is that we've got to have, I'll call it the family-friendly atmosphere. And
Quality
to me,
of life.
the quality of life
Completely
issues, and
agree.
really, it starts with our parks. I mean, we have neglected our parks over the last number of years, and we have we budgeted $3 million to spend on our parks this year to
Wow.
improve them.
Wow.
And actually, it's not just budgeted this year. We would like to spend $3 million in our parks for the next $3 million a year for at least the next 3 years. And if we do so, then when someone goes to our parks, they have a great experience, and it adds to that quality of life.
Another serious question too, along those lines, when we talk about workforce and quality of life, expectations, let's talk about social media and the use of what we deem sometimes what young people deem as recreational drug use,
Yeah.
and how it impacts workforce development, because it hurts us, right?
Oh, it's the number one barrier to someone getting a job. If you go to an employer and they're going to require that you do a drug test, and more people are culled or kicked out because they cannot pass the drug test than any other single thing. So the recreational use of drugs, even though you may rationalize that it's, for whatever reason you rationalize it, it is a huge inhibitor to getting a job.
Okay. Now we're going to take a brief break, and we're going to be right back.
Good.
The average text takes your eyes off the road for nearly 5 seconds.
Nonviolence will start with me.
Nonviolence will start with me.
All across the Mobile County public school system, students are taking the pledge.
I pledge to accept the responsibility of my actions.
To solve problems peacefully.
Respect myself and others.
The 100 Days of Nonviolence Pledge. It's an initiative to help explore alternative means of stopping violence among school students. Will you take the challenge? Get involved. Take a stand. 100 Days, 100 Ways.
Like what? Smartboard, that's wrong.
Traditional light bulbs actually generate 9 times more heat than light. Switch to energy-saving bulbs. Saving energy saves you money. When you throw away money on wasted electricity, you're throwing away everything you could have bought with it. Saving energy saves you money.
Hi, my name is Kendarius Burgess. I'm currently a junior at BC Rain High School. And my question is, we have great seasonal activities such as Mardi Gras and Bayfest in our great city of Mobile. But what other year-round attractions could you bring to make people want to stay?
Mr. Mayor, before we answer that question from Mr. Burgess, let's go back and revisit the question that you wanted to talk more about.
I want to really say that when we talk about the barriers to getting jobs and the drug use, the number one, first, primary, most important thing I think to getting a job is you've got to have a high school diploma.
Right.
I mean, if you've dropped out of high school, you need to get your GED. And then after that, after you have that diploma, or the GED, then there are multiple pathways. And when I'm commenting about the fallacy that you have to go to college to be successful, there are multiple pathways. That's the key. And every child is not going to follow the same pathway. So the vocational training or the college career, they're available, but without the high school diploma,
Right.
you can't even get in the starting blocks.
Exactly, and as we were saying during the commercial break, a lot of times vocational classes or certificates lead to college.
And absolutely, it leads you right into college, and you're more mature when you go to school, make better grades, and get a better job.
Okay.
Yeah. But back to the question about year-round attractions. You know, when I think of year-round attractions, the things that comes to my mind are like the theme parks. You know, whether it's a Disney World type theme park or something lesser than Disney World, because there are not many of those around. You know, Mobile doesn't have the population size to really have a large year-around attraction of the theme park. Destination park at this point in time. But there are a lot of things that we can do. I think that even though we have Mardi Gras, and I think we mentioned Bay Fest, but you know, there are other things that really maybe our young people aren't interested in, is the opera, the ballet, and these kind of things. But we've got to do a better job of bringing entertainment to Mobile. I mean, we are a city that we do, with the surrounding areas, have enough people to come attend shows. Now, what we have today that we didn't have 20 years ago was you have a lot of competition from the neighboring areas, that we compete with. Yeah. But that doesn't mean that we back off and give up, because we've got to be aggressive in having these types of events that improve the quality of life and have things to do for our citizens.
And I think of all the students polled, that was one of the biggest topics for discussion from young people about entertainment. And I guess in their mind and from what they expressed, they felt that was a caveat to deciding whether or not to reside in Mobile after college or not.
You know, I think the way to say it is that we sometimes hear not just young people, but people my age say, there's nothing to do in Mobile.
That's the phrase.
That's the phrase they use.
Yeah.
Well, maybe I said that in the past too, but now that I've become mayor, I found out there's a lot to do, and I mean from an entertainment standpoint. If you have to open your eyes and be willing to go to some of the events that we have.
It's maybe an issue of enhancing the awareness of things that are available to our citizenry, as well as enhancing the opportunities, like you said. Maybe the thing about having entertainment come here.
Yeah. Well, I'll say this: we had maybe one of the most interesting people I've met while I've been mayor, and he calls himself a Imagineer.
Wow, okay.
And he worked with Disney for 10 years, and he's worked with the cruise lines for about 10 years. And I was going to meet him for an hour the other day. I spent 5 hours with him.
Wow.
And he was just a wealth of ideas of things, that Mayor, you need to consider this, you need to consider that, and can you do this? And so we have a very open mind to ideas of things that we can do, so that we get rid of that there's nothing to do in Mobile, along with the city of perpetual potential. We don't want to be talking about those two things as we go forward.
Well, I want to find some potential realized.
That's right.
I think it's great that we have a mayor who actually is allowing himself to consider things outside of your own thoughts as it pertains to community. And I think that'll resonate with young people as well as adults, in knowing that their voices can be heard and will be heard, because I see everyone, the students of the Mobile County Public School System, as well as the other students along private schools or public schools in the Mobile County, along with their parents, are stakeholders in this community. And their being involved in the community has a direct impact on everything that you're trying to do right now.
Absolutely.
One of the things that I've noticed in your approach and looking at things new and differently is that you've engaged in a little social media as yourself.
Yes,
we've seen that.
Yes, we are.
And that's exciting that you're engaged in that as a method of communicating, because it appears to us in our daily interaction with young folks, that's the way that they live, and that's the way they interact and function. Not, there are pluses and minuses to this social media thing. As an employer prior to becoming mayor, and as an employer as mayor, I think it's important for young people to appreciate you know, the pluses of social media, but the dangers of social media.
Oh,
Could you speak on that a
yeah,
little bit?
absolutely. First off, I'd say that in the social media in my life, it just goes to show you can teach an old dog new tricks.
Okay.
We say table dance.
But the social media, the things that some of our students are doing today and the stuff they put on social media, it does not go away.
No.
And they're being told that. I think all of them realize that, but they don't realize the implication that one picture can have on an employer or some dialogue that they've involved themselves in. And it can be right up there as far as keeping you from getting a job. It can be right up there with drug use.
You're right. You're right.
I mean, it's a serious matter, and so you need to be very thoughtful and don't engage in arguing and demeaning other people on social media. I mean, those aren't the kind of things that we need to be doing.
I think it's important that you're saying that because you are the chief executive officer of Mobile. Is how I deem it.
Right.
And when you speak, people need to really listen because those who care about the city should want to listen and know about the things that are going on as well as the concerns. You just addressed the concerns of social media that every young person and their parent needs to be aware of because future employment is dependent on certain things that we do or not do on social media as well as what we do in the community.
I can just tell you that the top people in my administration, there's been a social media search done on every single person that we hired to see what was out there.
Yeah, I believe that.
Absolutely.
Yeah,
that's going to be the future. You know, like you talked about, before they get employed, they're going to get drug tested.
Yeah.
And in quality jobs, before they get employed, there's going to be a background check, which includes social media.
Yeah.
This has been a special show today, Mayor. We are great to have you in. The Mobile County Public School System appreciates your support and continued support. We hope you get an opportunity to visit some of those signature academies.
Well, thank you. Let me say what the Mobile County Public School System is doing is the foundation for the growth of all of our businesses.
We appreciate hearing that.
You're producing the product that, I hate to talk to students as product, but what you do has a lot to do with the future success of this city.
Well, thank you, Mayor Stimpson.
Thank you very much.
We are grateful, and thank you for viewing Safe Schools.